Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you some of the Anki add-ons I use that I've really been finding useful recently. So let's get started. First, we have the review hot map. So this is basically just this little graph-like thing you see here where each one of these little squares represents a day, and the more reviews you do on that day, then the darker shade of green the square will become. And this is just kind of a nice little add-on because it encourages you to stay consistent, makes you feel motivated when you look back in the past and see that you've been doing a really good job of repping every day, and overall it kind of just looks cool, you know? And when you install this add-on, it will also give you the hot map in the graph page, and normally it also shows it on the Anki homepage right here as well, but I just turned it off in the settings because I thought it made the homepage look a little crowded overall. So next we have the Japanese support add-on. Now you probably already know about this add-on, but I've thought of some creative uses of it and I want to show them to you. So as you probably know, if you have a card that has Japanese in the name and you have an expression field and a reading field, then when you click away from the expression field, it will fill in the reading field automatically with all of the readings of the kanji. And although it's in brackets now, if you actually view the card with the formatting on, then it will turn all of the brackets into furigana. And it looks very nice. Now if we look over here, we see that right before the name of the field, there's furigana with a colon, and if we remove that, then it turns that field back into the normal brackets. So since it's actually this furigana colon that makes everything properly formatted, we can just add that to all the other fields, as you see I've already done here with the furigana expression. And this allows us to do stuff like put furigana on the front of cards. Oops. And this can be useful, you know, if, say, you're learning a word or you're learning a sentence that has multiple words you don't know, and you want to just focus on one of the words and not worry about the other ones, then maybe you can just put the furigana on the word you don't want to worry about and, you know, lower your cognitive load. Now, that's a cool usage, but where this really gets useful is when you want to learn alternate readings of kanji, which can be read multiple ways. So if we take this word as an example, kusaki, it can also be read soumoku. And so let's say we wanted to learn this alternate reading. Now, if we made a card that just looked like this, then when we reviewed it a bunch of times, we wouldn't know whether to read this word kusaki or soumoku. Now, you might be able to assume that it's the more common reading if there's nothing else to give you hints, but in this case, the more common reading is kusaki. So what can we do to guarantee that we won't get confused and we'll know that it's supposed to be soumoku? Well, we can put those brackets and actually put batsu kusaki just to show us that it's not kusaki, it's the other one, and then we'll know it's soumoku. And this way you can just pinpoint the kanji readings that you want to learn and not have any confusion. Now next we have the image resizer. So let's say we wanted to put a picture on the front of the card because kusaki. Having pictures can overall make things easier to remember. So here's a nice picture of kusaki, copy, and if we were to just paste it over here, then we see it's very big. And if it's too big, then it's going to waste space on Anki Web, it's going to take longer to sync the first time, and it might mess up the formatting of your cards. So to be more efficient, you'll probably want to shrink it down. But shrinking it down manually each time, you know, is a lot of effort. So what you can do is, if you have this plugin called Image Resizer, then the way I have it set, if instead of just doing a normal controlled paste, which makes it big, you can do Control Shift Paste, and it automatically resizes it for you. Now, if you go into the settings of Image Resizer, you can either check this box, which will make it so that every single image automatically gets resized, or you can have it how I keep it, which is if you just paste the image normally, it will keep its original size, but if you do Control Shift V, then it will resize it to whatever size you have entered here. And so it saves you a lot of time when you take big images from Google. So next we have quick color change. So before I actually explain the add-on, I have to give a little background on how you would use it. So if you're studying pitch accent, you've probably run into the problem of just having general difficulty remembering the individual pitch accents of words, or maybe you get some words confused. So one really awesome way to solve this problem that I've been doing recently is color code for pitch accent. So as you probably know, there are 4 pitch accent patterns: heibang, atamadaka, nakataka, odaka. And so if you can assign a color to each one and then make sure that, and then just color each word depending on what type it is. And the reason why this is so effective is because, like I said, it's same with this kind of image, right? It's like, the mind is really good at remembering things it can see, much better than it is at remembering abstract information. So if you see a word and it's blue each time, it will naturally get associated, and before you know it, say you're just reading a book in the wild, if you come across that word and you try to recall the pitch accent, when you try to recall that word, in your mind's eye, you will be able to see the word written in blue because you've already made that association, and you'll know that blue is heibang. And so once you learn your own system, it can be extremely powerful, and you can have no problems memorizing pitch accent almost completely passively just by reviewing your cards and having the colors. And so the color system that I use is blue for heibang, and then since Atamadaka is pretty much the opposite of heibang, I have red because red is the opposite of blue, and then Odaka is green because green is similar to blue, and Odaka is similar to heibang in that when it's pronounced in isolation they sound the same. And then Nakadaka is orange because Nakadaka is similar to Atamadaka and orange is similar to red. So all we have to do is go and color all the words depending on what the pitch accent is. But if we use this little built-in HTML editor, it's going to take us a lot of time and effort to get all these the right color. So because there's this add-on, Quick Color Changer, we can use it to create new shortcuts to allow us to color things whatever we want. So as you see right here, you do have to set it up yourself, but I have all the 4 colors I need and the shortcut so that I can do this. Once you get the furigana down here, just highlight it and say, okay, Hana is Odaka, so I want it to be green, and Oku is Tamadaka, so F11 for red, and then Shigetteru is Nakadaka, so we'll make it orange with F12, and it takes a lot quicker. It still takes a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it considering that it pretty much makes you instantly be able to memorize infinite pitch accents. And so now we would know just by looking at it, it would be pronounced Soumoku ya hana ga oku shigetteru. And I'm never going to forget that now. So next we have frozen fields. So basically, see these snowflakes right here? If we click the snowflake, then the field will become frozen, and even when we add the card, what's typed in the field will stay there. So this is useful if you want to make multiple cards that are only a little bit different from each other, because it saves you all the effort of going to the card you just made and recopying all the information. So as we see, I copied these 2 fields, and now let's say we wanted to learn the other reading. And so we'll switch it around and say, okay, this one will be, well, Somoku, so it's not that, and then we can put Kusaki. And then in this case, since Kusaki is Nakadaka, we just press F12 and make it orange. And so it's pretty useful. Now, the only issue with this add-on is that when you have it installed, even when you go to the browser, all your cards still have it shows the snowflake right here, which makes no sense because it has no use at all. I guess it's just some bug of the add-on, but whatever, I keep it installed. I think it's still worth it. So next 2 little ones, we have clickable tags. So if you, in the code for your card, if you make it so that it shows the tag on the beginning of your card, and then you install this clickable tag add-on, just turns the tag into a little button like this, and when you click it, then it opens up the browser and shows you all the other cards with the same tag. So I use it occasionally. It's kind of just a nice little bonus to have, and mostly I like that it makes it look like a cool little button. And also we have colored buttons down here, where if you install this colored buttons add-on, then this one becomes red for the fail, and the OK becomes green, and it doesn't actually do anything more than that, but I mean, doesn't it look kind of nice? I like it. But what we have also that's extremely useful is this pitch accent add-on. I think it's just called pitch accent, but I'll put the link in the description. And with this add-on, if you highlight a word and then go Control 8, then it instantly gives us a little pop-up that tells us the pitch accent. And all the information in this add-on comes from the NHK Accent Dictionary, so you know, you can trust it. And I just find this extremely useful for quick lookups when you're in the middle of your reps. You can, it doesn't have to, it can be in any field. And so overall, this is totally awesome. So next we have create filter decks from the browser. So normally if you wanted to create a filter deck, you'd have to go over to tools, create filter deck, and then manually enter exactly what you wanted to study, which would kind of be a pain in the ass. But with this add-on, you can go to the browser and then select from all these different options you have over here. And if you hold down if you hold down Control, then you can do combination searches. So hold down Control, and for example, let's go new, and this deck with this tag. And we want it to only study this. So now we can go with this add-on installed, edit, and create filter deck. and then it's that easy to study exactly what you want to study. And so this is also really useful. Now lastly, we have Awesome TTS. So this is basically a text-to-speech app. And the way it works is that, for example, if we wanted to get a text-to-speech reading of this sentence, we could paste it right here, highlight it, go Control-T, this little thing will pop up, and then we are given a bunch of choices of which service we'd like to use for the text-to-speech, and then many services have other options within that of different voices and stuff. And you can save all your presets here. So if you look right here, this is what I found to be the most accurate in order, and sometimes it depends on the sentence. Sometimes the second one will be more accurate than the first one. Usually this first one's the best. And if we take a listen,
仕事の上で生き悩む
so we can hear that you can obviously still tell it's a robot, but it's pretty dang good, and its pitch accent is pretty much perfect for most things. So I think there are uses for it. If we wanted it, we can click
仕
record,
事の上で
and
生
then
き悩む
we have the MP3 right here, that easy. And I think if you're a beginner, you don't want to use this too much because you don't want to pick up weird habits from the robot, but it can be useful for if there's something that you just are having trouble pronouncing or having trouble remembering. It's nice to hear it sometimes. So I'd say it's a good tool to have in your toolbox as long as you use it sparingly. And another way you can use this is that you can just highlight a word anywhere when you're in the middle of reviewing, or a whole sentence, and right click it and go Awesome TS, and then all your saved presets will be right here, and you can just listen to it right then.
仕事の上で生き悩む
So yeah, those are all my favorite plugins. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd like to give a special shout out to Nihongo Keeb, Alhendi, Isaac, King, Phantom Madam, Brody, Juice J, Ergenkamp, and all my other patrons for supporting me. If you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, for $1, you can get into my personal Discord server, which is turning out to be an awesome resource to meet other fellow AgeAdders and find tons of new resources. See you next time, guys.